Hello everybody, it's Lena, and in today's video we are building this pretty trashed, run-down apartment complex that we are building in the world of Evergreen Harbor in The Sims 4. So we are building it on a 20 by 30 lot, and I really just wanted to build an apartment building because it's been a while since I did that. The last time, I don't remember when the last time was, but it's been like a few months and I really enjoy doing it, so I wanted to get back into it, and I just wanted to build something like very run down and gross and trashed and whatnot, because for the most part I try to make my builds very pretty and nice, and I try to make them look like something I might want to live in myself, so kind of dreamy or just normal in a way. But sometimes it's kind of fun to do the opposite and just go all out, make it really gross, put a bunch of trash everywhere and just make it very, very not nice. I really enjoy doing that, like as much as I enjoy making very pretty builds, so it's just fun to do that once in a while, and that's what we're doing today. So I hope you also like that, because otherwise that would kind of suck. I don't know why you would be here if you don't like trashed builds. You clicked on the video, right? But yeah, anyway, I think it's kind of fun, and this apartment complex has 7 apartments and they are all pretty small. I mean, they are like varying shapes and sizes, but some are only little studio apartments and they're very small, and then there's one that has 2 bedrooms, and I believe that one is the biggest apartment. So all on the small side, but of varying sizes, I would say. But the idea that I had behind making this apartment building was that it would be like a storytelling device in a way. So if any of you guys want to play with a sim that is just starting from the bottom, and you're not necessarily trying to do like a rags to riches challenge in the game, but you're more so just trying to tell the story of someone who does not have a lot of resources, so they have to move into like a super trashy apartment complex, a very small apartment, and just try to like make it in life, then you can download this apartment complex and start out in one of these little apartments and just kind of like have fun with that and make a bunch of money for your sim. Because I don't know, for me at least, like I like to sometimes just play sort of in a storytelling way. I don't know, I'm not super good at that, but that is something that I've wanted to do in the past, and for me this would be like a pretty good storytelling device for that sort of story. So that was just sort of what I had in mind, and in this video we will be decorating 2 out of these 7 apartments, although some of the other apartments are like sort of decorated in a way, although keep in mind all of these apartments are pretty gross to varying degrees at least, and all of the bathrooms are like decorated and made and all of that stuff, just because I figured that would be realistic. And some of the apartments also have a little kitchens that I've made and have just like some miscellaneous stuff around it, like a bunch of trash and whatnot, because again I thought that would be realistic, so you can move into one of those apartments and have a kitchen and a bathroom, but also a bunch of like trash that you just need to get rid of, because I don't know, just seems like the type of stuff you might end up with when you live in a really bad place like this one. So yeah, again, realism is what was kind of fun here. Yeah, but the first apartment that we're going to be decorating in this video is a 2-bedroom apartment, and I think I said earlier on that there was only 1 2-bedroom apartment in this complex, but I believe there are 2. Yeah, anyway, it's been about a week since I finished this build, so it's not super fresh in my memory, I do apologize. But yeah, one of the apartments with 2 bedrooms is the one that we are decorating, and it's on the first story, and this one is like completely trashed. It's very gross, and I feel like the people that live in it are not super healthy, let's put it that way. They're probably strung out on a bunch of stuff. Who even knows what they're strung out on? I don't think they know, because I mean they probably just got their stuff from some real bad person who just mixed a bunch of stuff in there and then they put it in their bodies. Yeah, that's dark. Anyway, but they are not really in a great state of life right now, and our apartment definitely reflects that. So it's very trashy, and there's just a bunch of like gross stuff around, and it's not a nice place at all. It's messy, and there are just some needles and gross things, and on the stove there's like a pot with some doll in it that they're cooking. Why would they cook a doll? I don't know. Who knows, okay? They're just doing a bunch of weird stuff. So I had a good time decorating that apartment, and I just made it very gross and weird and questionable, and that was fun. And then the second apartment that we will be decorating in this video is a lot nicer, but in not a nice way. Because my idea for that apartment was that the person living there is just like one young person who was either like kicked out by their parents or just for whatever reason does not have any resources to live in a nicer place than this. So they are not a person who is like doing illegal substances or getting into criminal activity or anything like that. They're just like a very average law-abiding citizen, but they happen to live here amongst all of the non-law-abiding citizens, I guess. Yeah. So I also wanted this apartment to reflect that person's story. So the apartment is not gross in the way that they don't clean, because I definitely think that they do clean. However, the walls have cracks in them and there's just like a bunch of weird stuff going on in there. It's not the nicest place at all, but like they're trying to do what they can to make it a homely and cozy and not bad space to be in. So the furniture is obviously not like the most expensive, newest, greatest stuff ever, but it's decent. And the kitchen is very beat up because that's just like a thing that is in the apartment permanently. They did not put it there, so it's not a great kitchen, but it's like clean and it's not nasty. And again, like this person has just been dealt some pretty bad cards in life, but they're trying to do their best and they're just trying to like work hard enough to get out of this place at some point or another. So this is just their humble beginnings in a way is what I was thinking. So those are the two apartments that we're going to be decorating in this video, and as you probably can tell, they are going to end up being quite different because I just really wanted to tell two vastly different stories of the people who could potentially be living in this place. So yeah, that's just that. I think they're both fun and cool in their own ways, but personally I would not want to live in a place like this because that would be scary. I feel like it would not be very safe, but if I were to live here, I would definitely want to live in the latter apartment that I mentioned. But in about 1 week from now, we are getting a new expansion pack for The Sims 4, the Lovestruck expansion pack, and in the trailer for that pack, I saw that there was this very like messy bed that just looked very disheveled and not super great. And all I could think of while I was decorating some of these apartments was that I really just wanted to use that bed in them because it just seemed so perfect. I really just thought it would fit perfectly in there, but obviously we don't have the pack yet, so I couldn't use it, and I was a little bit sad about that. But yeah, I am excited about getting that very disheveled bed because I feel like it would be pretty useful in a lot of situations. And we do have some beds that are not exactly in the greatest condition in the game right now, but we don't have any that are like that one, so that'll be pretty fun. But yeah, anyway, the new Lovestruck expansion pack, I haven't really talked about it on here because, I don't know, that's just not really the type of thing that I talk about on here. But I guess I'm a little bit excited about it, although the thing is, I cannot say that I really am too interested in the theme of it. Like, it's all about dating and heartbreak and everything that comes with the world of like love and dating, and that's just like not something that I'm convinced a whole expansion pack is needed for. Like, it could definitely have fit into a game pack the way that I'm looking at it, at least. I mean, I'm very, very prepared to be proven wrong when I see the pack myself, but as of right now, I'm not like super excited about the theme of it. The reason why I actually am excited about it though is for very selfish reasons, so I do apologize about that. But yeah, you know, obviously full disclosure, I did recently become a part of the EA Creator Network, so that means I will be getting the pack for free in a few days in advance, and as of right now, I actually don't know when I will be getting the pack. Because this is very new to me. This is the first expansion pack release that I'm gonna be a part of as a member of it, and that's just very exciting. So for that reason, I'm excited, but I cannot say with certainty that this is a pack that I necessarily would be looking forward to that much if this whole thing was not going on for me. And obviously I'm not going to let that whole ordeal color my opinion of it in any way. That's not going to happen. But right now, initially, as I'm looking at it, I'm just really excited to try this whole new thing out. So yeah, anyway, that's just how that is for me. But of course I am ready and hoping to be proven wrong, and I hope that this pack will be beyond my expectations and whatnot. But yeah, I really don't know much about it yet because I've only seen the trailers and that's really all, so I don't really know what it's fully about. But I'm excited to play with it, and I'm excited for the new world because I love to get new worlds in The Sims. That is just one of my favorite things ever, although I'm expecting that this world will definitely be disappointing because sadly the worlds that we've been getting over the past few years have just been so extremely small, and I've made this clear in multiple situations, but I think that's so sad, and I really just want some bigger worlds, and I really don't think that would be too much effort for them, the way that I'm looking at it at least. So anyway, that's just what I want. But yeah, I'm excited for it in a way, but also whatever, right? Just another expansion pack. We have so many of them at this point. Anyway though, I hope you guys are all doing good, and I hope that everything in your life is going your way at the moment. So personally, I'm doing fairly okay right now, and as I've been talking about in my videos recently, I've been working towards getting my ocean kayaking certification for the past couple of months, and I said that weirdly, but I finally got it last week, which is so exciting for me, and I've just been wanting that for a while, so yay, that's great. And then a few days ago by now, I went out to go on my first solo kayaking thing, ride, whatever, sail. And so, okay, wait, I should probably explain. So when I got my kayaking certification, it basically just meant that I was allowed to go out by myself in the open waters and sail, and before that I had to like sail with a more experienced kayaker. So a couple days ago I went out on my first trip by myself, which was very exciting, and I was very like excited about doing that for the first time, and it went really well. Although one thing that I was kind of nervous about was like carrying the kayak by myself from the shed that they're kept in and out into the water, because these kayaks are very heavy, and I thought I would be able to do it. However, I was in for a bit of a surprise because I'm a weak little bitch, okay? I don't know how to carry anything. I'm so not strong. It's very embarrassing, and for some reason I thought that I could carry this kayak, even though it's literally like half of my own body weight, and it's such a weird, odd shape. Like, it's literally 5 meters long and it's pretty heavy, so it's difficult to carry. And so when I went out there was a woman at the kayaking place, and she helped me carry it from the kayaking shed and over to these beams that we keep them on when we get everything ready for the kayaking trip, right? So she helped me with that part, but then I had to carry it from the beams and out into the water by myself, and I was alone at this point. And you know what? I'm so glad that I was. I mean, on one hand, I would have liked a little bit of help, but I'm so glad that no one saw this, because it was not pretty. I must have looked so stupid carrying this stupid big kayak over to the water. I was struggling so badly, and it was very, very difficult. How long is it? It's like maybe 15 meters or something, which is approximately the same as 15 yards, just so everyone knows what I'm talking about. And it's not very far, but it's difficult to carry a kayak when you're a little weak idiot like me, okay? But I did it. I managed to do it, and I'm so glad no one saw it. I don't think they've got cameras around this place, and I'm glad they don't, because someone would be getting a big laugh out of it if they did. Yeah, thank goodness for that. But I got it out there, and everything was well and dandy, and I was out on the water. It was very windy this day, a lot more windy than I had initially thought when I was on land. But yeah, the waves were pretty big, so that was intimidating, and this was my shortest kayaking ride that I had ever been on. But when I got back home, my arms and my entire body was so much more sore than they had ever been after kayaking, even when I had gone on way longer kayaking rides. So yeah, that was kind of crazy. It was pretty fun to see how much the weather can affect the difficulty of kayaking. So yeah, that was definitely like a great experience to have gotten, but also a little bit intimidating because this was my first ride by myself, and also the first time I was out in water that was actually like somewhat dangerous. But yeah, everything went fine and it was not a problem. And then when I got back to the harbor, I obviously had to carry the kayak up to first the beams and then later on to the shed again, because I had to do that, right? Gotta clean up your mess. And I was all alone at this point. No one was around, and it was just a me thing. And I was so tired at this point because I had just kayaked for like an hour and my arms were dead. So I could not even carry this stupid kayak all the way up to the beams, and I think I carried it probably around 4 meters in total, and I had to like put the kayak down at least 4 times. So I walked like 1 meter with the kayak, then put it down, picked it up again, walked 1 meter, put it down. This was so embarrassing. I'm so glad no one saw it, because again, someone would have gotten a very good laugh out of seeing that. And then I just ended up giving up, and I decided to just put it on a hill for now, and then I would wait and see if somebody would walk by and I could ask that person for help, because I desperately needed it. Like, I could not carry it first up onto the beams and then into the shed after that. That was just impossible for me and my very tired arms. So yeah, that was definitely a big loss for me, because I fully thought that I would be able to carry the kayak, but I was not. So that was sad. But it ended up working out fine, because I had to do some stuff before putting the kayak back in the shed. And then after a few minutes, this man walked by, and he definitely saw that I looked like someone who needed help. So he asked if I needed help, and I said, yes, please help me carry it in there. So yeah, anyway, I got help and everything was fine, but again, pretty big loss for me. And there were like a few people that had walked by before this man came along, and I was considering asking them, but the problem was these people were either very young children, and obviously I'm not gonna ask a very young child for help carrying my stuff, that's weird, right? And also some elderly couples were walking by, and I'm not gonna ask them either, so yeah, anyway, this was kind of a panicky moment for me, because I was very scared that no one of physical capability was gonna walk by, and I was just gonna be left stranded and have to try to put it in there myself, but it worked out okay. So basically, I need to increase my upper body strength desperately, and I have been doing that over the past few months, but you know, it's just not been enough, seemingly, or evidently. So that's kind of sad, but oh well. Also, another thing is, the thing that I was kind of struggling with was that it was hurting my hands when I was holding the kayak. So I think that it'll help when I get myself some kayaking gloves, but I just haven't found any yet, so that's a little bit annoying. But it was like cutting into my hands, so that really hurt, and that was like the main reason why I had to put it down. And that was also a thing that someone had warned me about with the kayak that I've been using. So yeah, anyway, need to get myself some gloves, and then it might be a little bit better. And I also need to increase my upper body strength, obviously, but oh well. So I've got a little story about the woman who helped me carry the kayak from the shed over to the beams, actually. And this is a story about closure, I would say, because a few years ago, to be exact, I got my driver's license when I was 17, and the woman who was my driving instructor was kind of like mean. And I was a very sensitive girl when I was 17. I still am. I don't know why I try to make it sound like I'm not anymore. I definitely am, but I'm just a sensitive person. And this woman was kind of like rough, and I'm not joking, she like nearly made me cry around 3 times, and we spent quite a lot of time together, like around 20 something hours over the course of this whole process. So she was talking a lot about like what she was doing in her life, and one thing that she mentioned was that she kayaks, and I knew where she was kayaking. And also, when I signed up to be a part of this kayaking thing, I knew that she was probably gonna still be doing it there. And then a few months ago, I did also see her name on the list of people who were a part of it, and I knew for sure that she was there. And I had kind of been dreading meeting her again because I did not really know how that was gonna go because I was just kind of nervous about it. Like, I did not really have the greatest experience with her because she was just kind of like a little bit hard on me, and I did not love that at all. So that was just not really a thing I wanted to do, and I kind of was trying-ish in a way to avoid her, maybe, potentially, yeah. But I knew that I was inevitably going to have to talk to her someday, and that someday was a few days ago. So when I got down to the harbor, she was there and she was just packing up her stuff about to leave, and she saw me, and like we were the only ones there, and she saw me and asked if I needed to go into the house, and if not, then she would lock it up and whatever. And then I think she sort of like recognized me, and I had seen from the moment that I saw her and like was walking up to her area that it was her. I listen, this woman was kind of like not nice to me, so I could recognize her from miles away, okay? And she has a pretty distinctive look, so I knew it was her immediately. But yeah, I don't know, I walked up to her and introduced myself. She did not recognize me immediately, and then she was like, wait, have I met you before? And I kind of tried to pretend that I also like needed a little bit of time to figure out who she was and couldn't really place her like immediately, even though I obviously could. But yeah, I was like, are you this woman, the one who's like a driving instructor? I was like, yeah, oh my god, I got my driver's license from you, and this and that, you know. And then we kind of just caught up, and it was actually a very pleasant situation because she was very nice on this day, so that was fun. That was great. And she helped me with the whole kayak thing and just talked a bunch about her experiences. And then she also told me that during the time that I was getting my driver's license, which was in 2020, so obviously a very like weird year, and she told me that she was going through a very, very tough time, and I kind of just pieced it all together and kind of figured out that that was why she was being kind of a jerk to me throughout this entire thing. She didn't apologize or anything like that, like it wasn't anything of that nature. I don't think she even knew that she hurt me at all, but yeah, she did. But she just like explained these things and told me that she was having a hard time around this point in time, and that she actually like went down with severe stress, and it was really bad, and like a lot of personal stuff. So this whole conversation and talking to her about this on this day actually ended up being a good experience and something that I got some closure out of in a way. And by that I don't mean that this whole ordeal had affected me that much over the past few years, because it was just my driver's instructor who had been less than kind to me. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but now looking back on it, I was of course actively trying to avoid having to talk to her, so it had been affecting me in some way or another, and I didn't really want to confront her about anything and like really talk to her. So, you know, it was just kind of nice to air everything out in a way, sort of, and just like get her perspective on everything. So I really appreciated that. And she was also like asking me to like go kayaking sometime and like really trying to be nice and friendly. And you know what, that's cool, but I'm not ready to be friends yet. Nah, that's not where I'm at. We can be amicable acquaintances, but we're not gonna be friends, okay? No. So to give you like a little bit of context about why I felt kind of hurt by her, this woman is like one of those very unpredictable people, and in some situations when I got into her car to go practice driving, she would be super nice and everything was like great, and she was smiling and laughing the entire time. And then on other days she would be the complete opposite, and she would be so explosive and uncomfortable to be around. And I just really hate people that I cannot really predict, and people that are so explosive in that way. That's very uncomfortable to me. I don't like that at all. And again, like, she was very snappy and harsh on me at times, so she made me nearly cry so often throughout this like process, and that's just so weird. And also I ended up failing my first driver's test, and I imagine that it was because she was really stressed around this time, and she was kind of counting on getting me out of her system and not having to deal with me anymore. So when she had gotten the news that I failed my driver's test, she was literally yelling at me in the car on the car ride back home to my house. She was sitting there yelling, and I was on the back seat, and I just did not know how how to react because this was like such a big loss for me. I was so nervous about my driver's test and I was so embarrassed that I had failed it, and now this woman was yelling at me about it and like making me feel so much worse. And it was awful, and like that's just so unprofessional. Imagine literally yelling at your clients for failing. That's insane. And also, like, partly this was her responsibility because she was supposed to teach me, and this was also a failure on her part. So anyway, whatever. But yeah, that was just kind of crazy, and I did not love that one bit. And also, as I did mention, like, this whole ordeal was because she was stressed, and this gives me an explanation as to why she was acting this way. But also I just want to mention that being in a bad state of mind does not in any way, shape or form give you the right to be mean to other people and to yell at them and make them feel really bad about themselves, especially not when you are like giving them a service and I'm your client. Like, that's just not how that works. It's your responsibility to like cancel appointments and to decide for yourself when you need a break. You cannot just explode on your clients and your students and everything like that. That's not how that works. That's not okay in any way, shape or form. But again, this was a very like nice conversation, and it did give me some closure in some way. So yeah, that was pretty fun. I also have a story about the guy who helped me with it because he was real weird on the water, but that's a different thing. I cannot do that right now. We don't have time for that. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please do give it a little thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already and you enjoy my content. I would really appreciate that. But besides all of that, I hope you're having an amazing day, and then I cannot wait to see you all in my next video that I will be posting in just a few days. So bye everybody!